Hi everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'm going to show you my favorite way to make ham hocks and beans. So this is a really delicious, warm, cozy meal that you can make any time of year, but I love it especially as the weather's getting colder, like in fall and winter. It's a really great way to make pork meat stock, and if you use a bean like I am that is okay for the GAPS diet, then if you're doing fine with beans, then this is something that you can have on GAPS too. But lots of people on or off GAPS love this recipe, so let's jump in and get started. So it takes a little bit of planning before you actually start making this recipe. You want to soak the beans ahead of time. So I'm using white navy beans, and I like to soak these for a long time before cooking, at least 24 hours. If I can get more like a day and a half to 2 days beforehand, that's even better. And for this particular type of bean, it's best to soak them in water with a pinch or two of baking soda. So what I do is I put the beans into the pot. I weigh out how many I'm doing. For this recipe, I ended up doing 3 pounds, but you can totally adjust that depending on how many people you're feeding. And so that I put the beans into the pot, I add filtered water to cover by a couple inches because they will expand as they get wet. You may need to add some water as you go. And then a couple pinches of baking soda. So I bring this to a light simmer and then turn off the heat, put the lid on, and then let it sit. And then every 12 hours or so during the soaking process, I will drain the beans, so dump them into a colander, and then put them back in the pot with new water, 1 or 2 pinches of baking soda, bring it to a simmer, turn off the heat, and put the lid on and let it sit again. So I have the beans here. They've been soaking for quite a long time, which means their cook time is not going to need to be super long. And in case you're new to why we soak beans, it's because beans, like any other seed, are a seed that don't really want to be eaten, so they have a lot of anti-nutrients. And when you soak them ahead of time, it deactivates those anti-nutrients, makes them much more easy for our body to digest. It unlocks nutrients and makes them more bioavailable. So it's just another method for properly preparing seeds so that our bodies can have the best use of them. So I have these already ready to go because they've been going for a while now, and then around mid-morning to the middle of the day is when I like to start the actual broth part of this recipe, and then during the last 1 or 2 hours of cooking I'll go ahead and add the beans, but I'll show you that process when we get there. But for right now, I'm going to start the ham hocks cooking. So these are just hocks. They've not been cured or anything. I call them ham hocks, but they're uncured. So we get these with our whole pig when we order one. And so for pork, a good cook time is 4 to 6 hours. So I just plan on that. So I'm going to add these to the pot. I'm going to add some onion, some garlic, a mineral salt, and some pepper, and get these going. So as far as the carrots and onions and everything, I'm chopping them up in the sizes that I'd like them to be when we eat this later. So nice small bite-sized pieces, and then I'm just adding enough water to cover the ham hocks. Added my pepper and some mineral salt, and then I'm just going to add a lid. And I'll keep an eye on this, and when it has come up to a nice simmer, then I'll try to bring it to more of a boil at first and then skim any scum that rises to the top, get rid of that, and then reduce it to a simmer and let that simmer. right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the beans. So I'm going to drain them from their soaking water and then add them and a couple of other things. And it doesn't look like any additional liquid is needed to add, so that's good. The next thing that I like to add at this point is some cloves and some parsley. So either fresh parsley or dried will work. So I'm going to add that. So about a teaspoon of ground cloves. I'm also going to just turn my heat up for a little bit since I added those beans, just to bring everything back up to a nice cooking temperature. And then for parsley, about a couple tablespoons or so, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons altogether. Just gonna give it a stir to mix those in. Sometimes I like adding celery to this too if I have it, but I don't have any of that on hand today, and it's fine without. So as soon as that's back up to a simmer, I'll just turn the heat back down, and then let that continue cooking until the beans are nice and soft. Okay, now the cook time is finished, and this is ready to serve. So the ham hocks contributed really nice properties for a really nice meat broth or meat stock. There's also some meat that is come from the ham hocks, and so just really nice flavorful broth with beans and some bits of meat and carrots. So there's different things. You can have this on its own. Sometimes we like to do an all-natural ketchup on the top. Some people like it, some people don't, but if that sounds good to you, that's something you can try. You can do other toppings, like I know some people do some sauerkraut, some people do cultured cream. There's a variety of different things that you can do. Some things to serve with it are like soaked cornbread or something like that. But like I said, it's great just on its own too. It's a very nice, hearty, filling meal. I hope that you enjoyed seeing how I like to make beans with ham hocks. Be sure and check out that description box for links to where I like to buy my ingredients, as well as free ebooks and other goodies. I have ebooks on a variety of different things. I have some GAPS recipe ebooks, DIY remedies, skincare, different things like that. So be sure and check those out. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would like to see it, would find it interesting or helpful, maybe needs some new fall time dinner inspiration. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.